Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Jared. Went to the Homestead Miami Speedway Dixie Vodka 400 NASCAR Cup Series playoff race. It was me and my mom. First ever race we've been to together. It's her first race in over 20 years, and my first race in about 2 years. And neither of us had ever been to this track before, so we made the trip all the way down there. The outfit I went with was my Preston Pardis shirt. This is my second shirt of his, and I'd never worn that at a NASCAR event before, so wanted to do that. Really cool when we were like pulling in, seeing the track out in the distance and just seeing all the palm trees, classic, Florida and Miami palm trees. The track's like in the middle of nowhere pretty much, like there's not too much surrounding it. The traffic wasn't the best. We parked right outside the venue and it was free, so good on the track for that. I know I was surprised and other fans were also surprised. So yeah, pretty much just big open field parking, and I think they, had plenty of space to get everyone in there, which was awesome. We started heading up to the track. I would say there was a lot of diversity in the crowd. Which is to be expected being, in the Miami area. And that was really awesome to see. I'm not used to that. We got up to the racetrack about an hour and a half before the race started. And I really wanted to check out the merchandise trailers before we actually went in there. But right when we started looking at the trailers, I realized that the line to get in the actual venue was very, very long. So I didn't want to take any chances, especially it being like, the first race we ever went to at this track and everything. You just want things to go smoothly. Right before we got in the venue, I should mention that I actually, just in case I wasn't able to get any souvenir from this particular race, I wanted to get a program at least before we got in there. So I got a program real quick and then we got in line. Something that was disappointing about the program though is it did not come with a diecast, which some tracks do and some tracks don't, and I feel like over the years that's especially been going down. That was the main souvenir I wanted to get from this race. Luckily, they actually got people in the venue very quickly. It wasn't a long wait. When we got in the venue, I would say it was extremely crowded, very, very crowded. Not a lot of space for walking for sure. We were about to go straight up to our seats, but once we realized that we had a little time, right before we went up to the seats, we decided to get some food. I actually got some nachos and a soda, and she got like a pretzel and a soda. And the food was extremely expensive. Which is to be expected at any sporting event, but I actually held out a little hope considering that the parking was free. I was thinking maybe they'd be more lenient on that front as well, but they weren't. So it was like over $30 just for 2 people, which is insane.
Piloting the number 17 from Prosper, Texas, Chris Busher. In the number 10 from Tampa, Florida, Eric Almirola. Michigan, Eric Jones. At New Hampshire Motor Speedway, he found his way into his second straight playoff appearance. Give it up for Christopher Bell! This driver is making his sixth appearance in the Cup Series playoff, driving the number 12 Team Penske Ford, Ryan
Here, 99, if Daniel's one is the team track now. He's getting ready to get strapped in. He's doing a few last-minute preparations over here. But I know fans here in Miami would love to get a chance to say hi. So if you want to say hi to Daniel Suarez, just make some noise up there. Who's pulling Danielle today?
Christopher Bell in the 20, the 9 of Chase Elliott, and the 45 of John Nemechek in number 2. Along with Tom Gibb, the youngest driver at 20 years of age. The race today, Tyler Reddick, he won the Xfinity Series Championship driver at the Series Speedway in 2018 and 19. Ty Elliott starts outside row 15. Going to join us in there. 16 field guys are going to go single this time.
The first thing that really caught my eye was the seating. Totally different seating than Daytona. I'm used to Daytona where it's like individual seating and like the seats aren't that bad at all as far as like the comfort level. But first thing I noticed was this is like bleacher type seating. It was literally just like these big long benches and just like a bar to, for your back to rest on basically. And that was a little surprising. I feel like it's pretty old-fashioned. Hopefully, like, down the road, they would improve that front. But sat down. The view of the track was great. But we got, like, right past the start-finish line and a little bit higher than halfway up in the crowd. Pretty hot day. And something else that I really liked about the track was it being Miami and all. I loved how they did, like, the Miami Vice colors, which was really cool.
Well, Rick, what a week for Kyle Larson in the middle of the controversy last week, taken out at Las Vegas, but today, man, did he deliver, led all but 68 laps.
I am going to be honest, it was not a good race. Unfortunately, we had to, of course, see one of the duds on this NASCAR season, in my opinion. Kyle Larson was on absolute rails, and he won stage 1, won stage 2, and ended up winning the race. The only other really notable moments throughout the race were John Hunter Nemechek. He had spun out, and he was in the 45 car this week because Bubba Wallace got suspended the week prior for the whole incident with Kyle Larson and the altercation and the intentional wreck and everything. But John Hunter was doing great, running top 5, and once he spun out, he never recovered. Also, Noah Gragson was filling in for Alex Bowman, who was having concussion issues. Something that was really interesting during the race where the NBC video crew actually came up to the section right in between us. So it was like we had our section, they were in between, and then we had another section next to us. And they were wanting to film the crowd, just cheering and everything. I assume coming back from commercial break, doing a sponsor, promo or what have you. But the thing that was disappointing was they ended up filming the section next to us instead of our section. But still cool regardless to see that. Something else that was interesting during the race was I'm pretty sure it was a father and a son. You can never guarantee it, but that's definitely what it looked like. But there was a father and a son that were both Kyle Larson fans, and they were all both decked out in their Valvoline gear, wearing the same exact outfit, which was really cool, especially because Kyle Larson was, dominating the race and he was in the Valvoline car. So I'm glad they got to have that really memorable experience. The crowd for the race I thought was very good. Joey Logano had already won in this round, so he was already advanced to the championship 4 at Phoenix. It was really interesting to see them riding the wall in person. That's always a classic character trait of Homestead Miami Speedway. So it was really awesome to see them ripping the fence and just how close they were really getting. Chase Briscoe, who was in the playoffs, absolutely shit the bed. Definitely worse than anybody else in the playoff field. He hit the wall, just destroyed his car, finished dead last. There weren't many incidents throughout the whole race, to be honest. I remember Tyler Reddick did wreck on the backstretch. He was another one that was running top 5, and then his pit crew kind of screwed him, and he never was able to recover and then ended up wrecking, and that was it. I will say late in the race there was some drama because during green flag pit stops, Ryan Blaney came out of pit road and spun out, which shook up the field slightly. It actually moved Kyle Larson back to 3rd, and then he kind of got stuck in traffic and had to battle his way back up to the lead. So the ending was looking like it was going to be Kyle Larson just having to catch Martin Truex and pass him for the win, which was definitely possible. It was definitely looking like that was going to happen, but the caution came out again, and when they went down pit road during the caution, Kyle Larson actually spun Martin Truex right before he got into his pit stall. So once he spun Truex and Truex was out of it, that really, really sealed the deal for Kyle Larson. There were some interesting names up in the top 5 in this race for sure. As I mentioned, John Hunter Nemechek. AJ Allmendinger was up there a lot of the time, and that was really awesome to see. He's going to go full-time Cup racing next year. But yeah, after the very controversial incident with Bubba Wallace the week prior, Kyle Larson came out and just whooped their ass, as he said in his post-race interview. But even though it wasn't a good race, still, for me, going to any sporting event or concert is always a great experience, no matter what, just because that's exactly what it is. It's an experience, and it's just really awesome to have those and enjoy those, and especially it being the first ever Homestead Miami Speedway race we went to.
Yes.
After the race, I was praying that the merchandise trailers would still be open, and luckily they were. So after that, I went and bought all the diecast that I wanted. All these are 2022 cars. So Kevin Harvick Mobile 1, Kevin Harvick Ream, Kevin Harvick Mobile 1 NASCAR Salutes, Kevin Harvick Mobile 1 Triple Action, Brad Keselowski Violet Defense. Never really cared for this car and paint scheme until my friend was telling me how much he loved it, and then I was like, you know, you're right. It is a really nice paint scheme. Ryan Blaney Worth. Love this one because it really reminds me of like an old Ryan Newman Penske paint scheme. Kyle Busch Interstate Batteries. Kyle Busch DeWalt. Kyle Busch Ethel M. Then we got Martin Truex Jr. Bass Pro Shops. Christopher Bell Ream. This one's disappointing because it doesn't have the chrome numbers on the side. But luckily, on the Brad Keselowski one, they definitely did it. As you can see here. And what was the other one that has it? Yeah, Kyle Busch. He's one that has it. Really cool touch. Let's get this fixed back up. Then we got Harrison Burton, Dex Imaging, Bubba Wallace, DoorDash, William Byron, Valvoline. Then we got William Byron, Exalta, Jeff Gordon throwback. Got Kurt Busch's Jordan Toyota, Kansas Win. This is my favorite paint scheme of the entire season. Daniel Suarez, K1. And then there's the program. So yeah, 17 adds to the 2022 collection. So after I got these die-cast, we went ahead and left the track, and the traffic getting out was pretty bad, to be honest, much worse than it was getting in, which was understandable, especially because we left a little bit later. But still, I'm not a big fan of just like these, there weren't that many roads leading to the track, and just a lot of congestion on these like roads because everyone's having to pile into these, you know, 2 lanes or so. But overall, great experience. I'm really glad I went, and I hope you all enjoyed. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.